3. Chapter 3, A Light in the Darkness. The next few weeks passed in a blur of shows, interviews, and travel. But something had shifted in Gabriel. The encounter at the church lingered in his mind, and he found himself increasingly drawn to the idea of faith, something he had never considered seriously before. Gabriel began reading the Bible in his spare time, finding solace in its pages. At first it was out of curiosity, but soon he found himself captivated by the stories and teachings. The Word spoke to him in ways he couldn't explain, offering comfort and guidance as he navigated the complexities of his life. One evening, after a particularly exhausting set, Gabriel retreated to his hotel room. Instead of heading to the after-party, he sat alone with his thoughts, the Bible open on the table before him. He had been reading the book of Psalms, finding resonance in the verses that spoke of seeking refuge in God. As he read, a verse caught his eye: "The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life, of whom shall I be afraid?" Psalm chapter 27 verse 1. The word struck a chord deep within Gabriel. He realized that much of his life had been driven by fear of failure, fear of not being enough, fear of losing everything he had worked for. But what if there was another way to live? A life where he didn't have to carry those burdens alone, where he could find strength and purpose beyond his own efforts? That night, Gabriel prayed for the first time in years. It wasn't a grand, eloquent prayer, but a simple plea for guidance, for clarity, for a way to find the peace that had eluded him for so long. As he spoke the words into the quiet of the night, Gabriel felt something shift within him. It was as if a weight had been lifted off his shoulders, a burden he hadn't even realized he was carrying. In that moment he felt a sense of calm, a deep abiding peace that he hadn't known before. The next morning, Gabriel woke up with a renewed sense of purpose. He knew that he couldn't continue living the way he had been. The fame, the fortune, the lifestyle, it all seemed meaningless compared to the peace he had felt in that moment of prayer. But changing his life wouldn't be easy. Gabriel was at the height of his career, and the industry expected him to continue on the same path. There would be challenges, sacrifices, and tough decisions ahead. But for the first time, Gabriel felt ready to face them. He began making small changes. He cut back on the parties, choosing instead to spend his free time in reflection and prayer. He started reaching out to old friends who shared his newfound faith, seeking their guidance and support. And most importantly, he began to see his music in a new light. Gabriel realized that his talent for music was a gift, one that he had been using for his own gain. But what if he could use that gift for something greater? What if he could create music that not only entertained, but also inspired, uplifted, and brought people closer to God? It was a bold idea, one that would challenge everything he had built his career on. But the more Gabriel thought about it, the more he knew it was the right path. He could feel God calling him to a new purpose, one that would require him to step out of his comfort zone and take risks he had never imagined. And so, Gabriel began to work on a new project, a music album that blended his signature EDM style with powerful, uplifting messages rooted in his Christian faith. It was unlike anything he had done before, and he knew it would be a gamble. But Gabriel was no longer driven by fear. He was driven by faith, by a desire to use his gifts to spread the message of hope and redemption. As he worked on the album, Gabriel felt a sense of joy and fulfillment that he hadn't experienced in years. The music flowed effortlessly, each track infused with a sense of purpose and meaning. It was as if he had finally found his true calling, the reason he had been given the gift of music in the first place. Gabriel knew that the road ahead wouldn't be easy. There would be critics, skeptics, and those who would question his motives. But he was ready to face it all, confident that he was on the right path. And so, with a heart full of faith and a renewed sense of purpose, Gabriel Winters set out on a new journey, a journey to spread the word of God through his music, to inspire others to find the light in their own lives, and to use his talents to glorify the one who had given them to him.